So let's just focus first on this first section. And I don't know, it was one of the questions saying, how do we get dates from the Bible? So let me show you some dates that we get in the Bible. First of all, the patriarchs. Patriarchs, arche, speaks of high or old, and patria is fathers. So it's the old fathers or the high fathers, the patriarchs, the ones who are the high fathers, the exalted ones. Abraham is the one that God calls to himself. Abraham was a Gentile that became a Jew, became the first Jew, became the father of the Jews. We know from the Bible exactly the date he was born, and I'll show you how we get that in just a minute. Abraham actually had 3 wives. Here's 2 of them. Hagar, his actual half-sister wife, his wife of his youth, the servant girl, and there's going to be one that he marries after Sarah dies. Again, Satan is trying to mess up the plan. And so, because God made Sarah not conceive. Now remember, the Bible says God grants conception. Now, we do a lot of things, and there's all kinds of a whole medical science for conceptionology, but the bottom line is, there is no conception of a child apart from God allowing it. That means there's no accidental babies. And that's why that poor senator that said whatever he said was so vilified during the campaign season, because the guy sounds like he's a believer. And what he said is, even a child conceived through rape, and there are several in the Bible that are conceived through rape, is God's plan, because he allowed him to be conceived. But no one asked me about that, so I shouldn't go down that line. But here comes Ishmael, because Satan is trying to ruin the plan. And so he has Abraham figure out how to circumvent, having children the way that God planned, and he's going to have them his own way, and he gets Ishmael. And Ishmael is a really blessed fellow. Ishmael, because he's a son of Abraham, Ishmael has 12 sons too. Did you know that? If you read carefully in the Bible, it's not just that Jacob had 12 sons. Ishmael has 12 sons. And his 12 sons are the people that made $1 trillion last year selling us oil. Those are the descendants of Ishmael. They're doing very well. All of Abraham's descendants are doing really well. But God says, no, here's my son of promise. And by the way, this is what the whole conflict is. Who is the Lord? Is it Yahweh that said that the son of promise is Isaac, or is it Allah, who the Muslims say Ishmael is the son of promise? See, the Quran says that Abraham offered Ishmael on the altar, and God says, don't kill Ishmael. Ishmael's my promised one. And by the way, when we get into Revelation 6, I don't want to spoil it for you, but did you know that the Muslims, Jesus is in the Quran very clearly. There's an Antichrist. There's a false prophet. All the things that are in the Scriptures, Satan has duplicated in the Quran. It's fascinating. We don't realize how much Satan has been at work right from the beginning. As soon as God identified Abraham as the family through which his nation is going to come, Satan's been busy. And I'm not saying every descendant of Ishmael is satanic, but I'm saying the arrival of Ishmael was part of what Satan was planning to do, but God is using it for his glory. So Isaac is born when Abraham is 100 years old. You see right there? 2166. When the year 2066 BC, Isaac's born. And they send off the servant to find a wife for Isaac. Isaac gets married when he's 40, doesn't have any kids until he's 60. He waited a long time too. And then he has twins, Jacob and Esau. And what's fascinating is Esau, who sold his firstborn right as a son inheritance to his brother for a bowl of soup. Who does Esau align with? He intermarries with Ishmael. In fact, Esau, in the Old Testament, he is the father of Edom. The Edomites, the Ishmaelites, and we'll see later when I do Keturah, and also Lot, Abraham's nephew, all of those people have intermarried, and all of them have become the enemies of God. I'm talking about in the Bible, not today. But they have aligned themselves, the Edomites, the Ishmaelites, and the sons of Dedan and all the other Keturah descendants are all lined up as enemies of God in the Bible. And by the way, just for you to know, Esau, who the Bible calls Edom, is the father of King Herod. There's another way Satan was at work. King Herod becomes the king of this side of the genealogy, and he doesn't belong there. Herod is from this side. He's from over here. He's an Edomite. He's not a Jew. He's an Edomite. But he became the king of the Jews, and when the descendant that came down through Judah, Jesus Christ, when he came, Herod tries to kill him. Again, Satan trying to destroy the plan of God. And these are, by the way, the 12 sons through it starts here, the 4 wives of Jacob, the 12 sons, and all that. I don't even know if anybody asked me about that. There's the other half of the family tree of Abraham, his first wife, second wife, last wife, right here, Keturah. After Sarah died, he takes another wife and has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more children. 7, 8. Perfect family, 8. Just seeing if you're listening. But look at what his descendants become. The Saudi Arabians today, by their geographic location, are the descendants of Sheba and Dedan. And then all of these are what we call the Bedouin people today that live in, there's still, if you go to the land of Israel, you see these people living there in tents. You can go to a Bedouin tent today and see exactly what Abraham lived like, very simply with their herd and flocks around them. But all of these Keturah children and descendants were sent by Abraham. He sent them with all kinds of treasures and said, leave the area where my son of promise is living and go to the east. So they go east to Saudi Arabia, and they sent off Hagar with Ishmael to the same place, and Esau joins them and intermarries along with, this nephew Lot, who had the Midianites. Lot had 2 children, or 2 incestuous children through his daughters, the Midianites and the Ammonites. And what's interesting is one of the descendants of the Midianites is Amalek. So all of the enemies of Israel, even today, if you read the Psalms, it describes the final battle. There's going to be, Psalm 83 tells about the final battle Israel's going to have with their enemies, and it lists off the descendants of Sheba and Dedan, the Amalekites, the Ishmaelites, all of these people, the Midianites and the Ammonites, and all of them are relatives of Abraham, and all of them are tied to Satan's desire to destroy that scarlet thread of redemption by intermarrying and destroying the lineage. And so a lot of prophetic history is based on the Keturhites and the Hagarite descendants as well as Esau.